I didn't trust Steam. I didn't like, and then I came to realize, oh my God, Steam's the way to go because I don't have to keep that DVD copy. It doesn't make sense for me to keep the DVD copy because when I switch out computers and I just sign in again to Steam or anywhere, I got access to my entire content library. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point because we didn't have the ability. If you lost the discs and you changed computers,
Right.
You were done.
Original geek, that's who I am. Rolling 20s with my squad, we got a plan. Marvel heroes on the wall, D&D dice in hand. Original geek, across the land. Level up, never gonna give it up.
Hey, welcome to Original Geek. This is the podcast for anyone who rolled dice in the basement, waited hours to download comics on dial-up, and proudly wore that label of geek back when it was, a target, not a trend. We're going to dig deep in what it meant to be a geek in the 70s and 80s, but also how it relates to today's mainstream world we live in today. We're two of the Gen X survivors who didn't just watch geek culture arrive, we lived through every awkward phase. Hi, I'm Steve Scarfo.
And I'm Jeff Shaw. And normally we would move right to our daily topic. However, I need to make a canon correction.
No, sorry. Oops, that lore is no more. It is time for a canon correction. All right, for folks who might not know, Jeff, and hopefully if they're watching they do, what exactly is a canon correction?
All right, so we're going to make mistakes. Like I said in episode 1, this is a trip down amnesia lane for us. It's decades. We forgot some stuff. I'm sorry. And I made a mistake during the epic fail. And by the way, we're doing a canon correction, because this is a serious correction. We'll make mistakes, and we can call those out in our comments or post it on our website. But for this is big, and I have to correct the canon. Huge.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before the show. It's not a small thing.
Yeah, no, this is big. So I, in the epic fail, I called out Star Trek: The Final Frontier, and I made 2 big mistakes. The first one maybe could have been a comment, and we could have posted it and just made an apology, because I said I said that Shatner said that he apologized for The Final Frontier, how it came out, and he said if he had the budget, it would have been better. And I made an assumption that it wouldn't have been this god showing up at the end that's really an alien. And I just thought that if he had had the budget, it would have been better. But no, the premise, which was the horrible thing about all this, was Shatner's. He did want that ending. He just wanted to look better. He just wanted more of a sci-fi budget, so he wanted to put lipstick on that pig. So it still would have been bad. I thought Shatner would have not done that.
Because he still wanted to meet God.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So, but the reason I have to do a correction here on our podcast and delay our topic of the day is because I also said it was the last time the original cast did a movie. And they made one more, and it was actually really good. It's called Undiscovered Country. As penance, I watched both number 5 again. Actually, most of the movie's good, except for the ending, which I still contend is horrible and shitty. But episode 6, Undiscovered Country, is actually really, really good and worth a rewatch for those of us who forgot. And I felt a little bit better that I forgot about the Undiscovered Country because my Star Trek superfan friend, she's got the Spock ears to prove it. I asked her what was the last Star Trek movie. She said Final Frontier. So I was not the only one to think that was the last original cast Star Trek movie. There we go. But right. I do apologize. Canon corrected.
Corrected. Now, the question of the day is, do you feel better now that you've corrected yourself?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
And I feel better having watched Star Trek 6. It was a redemption. It's actually pretty good.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen it in years, so I might have to go back.
Yeah.
And
There we
maybe
go.
maybe future episodes we'll both watch the same and decide why we either both love it, hate it, or fight to the death. But
Absolutely. But today's topic, let's move in there because today, Steve and I will be your trusted lifeguards as we surf the World Wide Web.
I think one of the biggest changes that's happened for us, amongst all of the big things that the Gen X generation has seen happen, is the advent of the internet. What's gone on? What were we doing? How did we get together? How did we communicate when mail was actually not E and just mail? You know, you had to actually, birthday cards were for a reason because you had to send someone in the actual mail something to say, hey, happy birthday. It wasn't
Yep.
just a money holder. I don't know if the kids today know that.
That's true. 100%.
Let's take a trip through time. It's a geek flashback.
When we started getting the internet, all right, so let's go pre-internet, right?
Okay.
We've said it a bunch. Jeff and I have
walking
been
down.
friends for a decade. What are you doing?
I'm walking down with you.
Oh, we're walking. We're going to
We're
step
walking
down
down
those steps.
Amnesia
if I could-
Lane. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what we do.
We're going to swim down this one because this is a bad one. We're doing it now. We are obviously in different places. We're using the internet to create content for y'all and having fun with it. We don't even live all that far apart. We could get together, but the internet lets us be lazy and comfortable. It's later at night for us. And so it's awesome. But when we grew up, there was no way. You had to pick up a phone, connect it to the wall, and call someone. You know, there was no texting. When we started talking about these things with each other, and we collected comic books, when we went to the comic book store, when we played games, they were all, I mean, that's why D&D started in a basement for us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the internet, although I admit when I first got the internet, you know, my first memories were I know this wasn't the first thing I did, but I think about online gaming, like when I think about it, because we had computers. So just, you know, Gen X, we were early adopters. We, in fact,
All right,
we
hold
had
on.
computers before the internet. Just
I was
so
going
you
to say,
know.
before you go too far, let's talk about what those computers were. Because they
I had
were
a Commodore
there
64. It's my first
yeah.
computer.
Commodore 64, same here. Our buddy Kevin, we've talked about in the past, he had the Commodore. I don't know. I think you and I both had the floppy drive.
I did.
Gen X guys,
How
girls,
dare
you guys
you?
know what we're talking
It's
about.
still floppy.
Yeah, it's like this big. And I wish I could say that was other stuff too, but it was just the disc that went in the drive. Kevin actually had a tape drive. Do you remember that? It looked like a music cassette, and it was data on the tape. And if you wanted to play the game up to a certain point, you had to like either rewind it or flip it over. Do you remember the first thing you did on the internet?
So I was trying to remember it for this episode, and I honestly can't. I remember exactly getting on the internet for the first time. I remember the apartment I was in Sanford, Maine. I remember that. I remember plugging my computer into that modem and hearing the squeal and screech of the dial-up, because it was all dial-up then.
Yeah.
I remember it. I remember that. I remember it super exciting seeing the Netscape icon come
Netscape.
up. And I remember all of that. But what was the first thing I did? That I do not recall.
I remember the first time I actually got on, and it's not anything, there's, you know, I want it to be this explosive memory, right? I want it to be this, holy shit, I was the first one to do that. But I think I just got on AOL Instant Messenger. I think one of the first ways I got on the internet was Netscape provided the internet, but the only software I knew how to use at the time was AOL, because they kept sending out those CD-ROMs. So CD-ROMs were a thing before the internet. So you got the CD in the mail, and you'd have to run it, and it would put the little square on the middle of your computer, and you had to log in. And I only knew how to get on the internet through AOL. Like, I think actually Netscape was after AOL because I don't
Nope.
think there was any. Was
This
there
I
browser?
did look up.
Did you
'cause
look it up?
Like, once again, like I couldn't trust my memory. Like with Star Trek, Netscape was first. AOL came out after.
Netscape
Yeah.
was first. I don't remember. That's funny. I remember the other way around. So obviously, I apparently need to carry more notes. But yeah, so I got on. The first time I remember getting on would have been AOL Instant Messenger. It took me about a week to figure out that's what AIM meant. AIM was AOL Instant Messenger. I'm like, what is AIM? I've never been on top of the newest slang. You can ask my kids. Apparently I'm skibbity. So, but yeah, I remember that. And then the next big memory I have, I think I was in grad school in the 90s.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
the next time I like truly remember spending time on the internet, and there were no graphics. It was all old CRT, and there were internet relay chats, IRC rooms. And you would go into a room like D&D lovers or whatever. The same concept, but you literally would type in a command, go to room 112, and you'd have to give yourself a name. Like all the same concepts we use today, but it was literally just green screen. Hi, I'm Steve. Who are you? And then it was just chatting. It was, I guess, the first texting. But I had to go to the computer lab at the school because that was the only place they had internet. There was no Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And for me, the first online gaming experience that really struck me was Warcraft. Not World of Warcraft, some people might know, but the first Warcraft was more like the games you might play on your phone with an army as real time, and you form like armies and you go up against someone else's armies or castles or whatever. And the very first time playing that kind of real time with someone else across the town. This other person was also in Wells. We were talking about, like, we're not that far away from each other. We could still, like, we just do this in person together. But like, they were in the same town with me, but it still was wild. Like, it blew my mind that we were playing this game together and not in Hot Seat. And Hot Seat, for those of you who don't know what that is, we used to, like I said, we had computers before the internet. We had computer games before the internet. And we would all be in the same room. Someone would take their turn. They get up. The seat's still warm, hot, and the other person sits down. So
Yeah,
it
because
takes
you
their
only
turn.
had one keyboard and monitor.
And that's how and so you waited your turn to play. And now it blew my mind because this was Warcraft. It was live and there were no turns.
You just
I actually
kept going.
found out I preferred turn-based from that experience as I got my ass kicked in Warcraft time and time again. So I'm like, I want a turn. But at the time, it just blew my mind. Like, wow, we're playing this. It's real time. There's no turns. That person is playing at the same time I'm playing. There's no hot seat. Two people playing the same exact time.
Yeah.
It
Do
was
you
just
remember the
blowing my
games?
mind.
Do you remember the games we used to hot seat? There were two.
Well, there was not Civilization.
We did hot seat Civilization a few times, but
No,
there
I
was
know,
one
but
before
it was
that.
before that. It was the
Remember, Kristen wanted to play.
Conquest, right? Lords of Conquest.
Oh no! Oh God! I was even going to Lords of Conquest. I was talking about. We got to talk about Lords of Conquest because that's even
Heroes of
before-
Might and Magic.
Heroes of Might and Magic. That's where I was
Yeah.
going. Lords of Conquest was
Love that game.
an Atari game, I think, but I don't remember if it was
It was
Atari.
a console game, yeah.
But it was on the Commodore 64, and we
And
each had to
so
play.
everyone knows that the like Pong type level of graphics Well, they might not even know what that is. The crudest graphics whatsoever. And we loved to hot seat this at Steve's house.
Because
when
we
he
hooked
was
it up to
growing
the
up
TV.
on his giant TV screen.
It was probably, now
And it
granted,
would
it was
not-
giant at the time. It was probably like a 38-inch TV.
No, it was gigantic.
It was a good sized
he had-
TV.
It was
My
a
dad
giant-
was so happy
They
to get that
converted
TV.
their garage into like a
living
playroom, living room kind of thing, and we attached the computer to it, and we were hot seating it, and we did not need a screen this size to play a game with this crappy level of graphics.
Oh my God. No, it was Atari. Was it Atari? We had controllers. I thought it was Commodore 64, but maybe it was Atari because we also used to play the Olympics game.
Yes. Yeah.
I forget if it was just called Winter Olympics, but there was a theme. There was like a series of them. There were winter games, summer games, but it was the 8-bit like stick figure. You know what it's like? Minecraft today does it sort of ironically retro, and it's still better graphics than we ever had playing these Atari games. And Lords of Conquest, it was Risk. It was Risk on TV or on the computer. But you could play 6 or 7 players, and we would sit around for hours just shitting on each other.
All right. So our Geek flashback has taken us pre-internet. Let's get back to the internet. Maybe with Geek Court.
The fandom is divided. It's time for Geek Court.
So in Geek Court, our case today, Mr. Shaw, did the anonymity of being online help geeks thrive, or did it make us more toxic? I think I know which way you're going.
I'm taking toxic. It's the anonymity part of this question. If it was just saying the internet, I would say geeks thrive. Being created Silicon Valley, essentially social media. I mean, geeks. I mean Gen X. Like,
I mean,
Gen
look
X
at
geeks.
Zuckerberg.
Like we did this. We did this. We built something. It was brilliant. But the anonymity part of this question, that's what we're talking about. When you can go anonymous, all that bullying that you experienced, maybe in real life, you get on get online and you get to be just as cruel, if not more cruel, because you're behind this shield of being anonymous. No one knows who you are, so you can post what you want, be as cruel and mean as you want. And one of the easiest ways for someone to feel better about themselves is to put someone else down. So when you put someone else down, you suddenly put yourself above them, and instantly, not me, but instantly, people feel better about themselves. They put someone else down, they bully, they abuse, and I don't think this kind of a lot of this bullying would occur if your real name was there, if you really had to stand by what you said and what you did, or if you're face to face. Like, if you wouldn't say that face to face with someone, then don't put it out there. That's what I'm saying, is that the anonymous nature of online has made things toxic, and we need to behave better and get rid of these anonymous personas that we have out there. Steve,
All right, so
counter.
I'm counterpointing. We'll talk about the stuff I'm going to get back to your side too after I make my point, because I don't disagree with everything you're saying, but I think it's sort of the yin with the yang, because being anonymous allows, especially the most socially awkward amongst us as geeks, you and I happen to be extroverts, so we don't have a problem going out and socializing. And while we hid ourselves for years as geeks, we definitely didn't have a problem being around folks. But there were folks who were just introverted naturally, didn't have that outlet, maybe didn't have a large friend group, when the internet came along and they didn't have to be afraid of retaliation for putting themselves out there, they could say very proudly, I read the Dragonlance series and, I think that Tasselhoff Burfoot was the best character of the whole damn thing. And they might get shit on by people, but they didn't have to worry about the kids in their schools knowing it was them because they were, Tasbur 37 online. And they could hide behind the screen name in the sense of truly a shield protecting them and allowing them to feel their oats, if you will. Like, I'm going to go out, I'm going to say some stuff, I'm going to have conversations with people, I'm going to voice my opinion in a way I might never have been able to. And I think along the way, too, folks created friendships that became real life friendships. People would get together online and be in those IRC chat rooms I was talking about before, and they would have these conversations and become friends in real life, the IRLs. So I think it's sort of a yin with the yang, and it sucks that you have the yang, but you get the good part of it. So that anonymity, I do agree with you. So I'm coming back around. There's got to be a line. You can't cross that line because I agree people get shitty. It's not okay. But I think it was worth it. I really do. If you guys agree, let us know. And for everybody, by the way, we're in week 4 for us. You guys just heard week 1. So there's a time delay for us right now. But thank you guys for everybody that's been downloading. Love having you with us. Please reach out to us and tell us what you think about the stuff we're talking about. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Share it. Watch the videos. All of it helps. But now we're going to go to our next area.
Dust it off and geek it out, because it's a basement treasure.
They're digging in the wrong place.
Basement treasure time. All right, I'm going to go first on this one. I told you earlier what it's going to be, and I can't believe it. So again, pre-internet, music was a thing that you had to... Oh, God, I have another story for this, too. I don't know if I told this on the podcast before. But we used to have to record songs from the radio on a tape recorder. That was the only way. If you didn't go to the store to buy a tape or buy a vinyl, you had to put your tape recorder up to a radio and record it. And you could only put songs on tape that you had access to. If there was a brand new song on the radio and you couldn't get to the mall to get a new single, you had to do it. So Jeff was a master. Combination of vinyl and tapes he had recorded off the internet, and Jeff was great about adding in movie quotes, which will be another whole topic at some point in time.
That's true.
And when we got out of college, we did it. I think we even had one with us for that trip, that road trip with Bill. But we had these. I had these tapes, and I did a lot of driving during college because I drove back and forth from where. And so I always had this music, and I always knew when the movie clips were coming. So my basement treasure is Spotify's great, Apple Music's awesome. I stream other podcasts and music all the time, but those tapes were the best, man.
Yeah, I forgot that we could download. Well, I mean, we did do the recording, like you said, recording off of the radio, and you just got to get the timing right, or a movie quote. But when the internet came, made it so much easier. LimeWire, which I know is not around anymore, sued to oblivion.
Yeah.
For copyright, but piracy was encouraged on LimeWire.
We got to talk about piracy and Napster too.
Napster, yeah. So, you want the quote from Jaws? Just look it up on LimeWire. You can get your quote from Jaws. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah, I did appreciate and use that to up my mixtape ante. And those of you who are thinking mixtape, Guardians of the Galaxy. If you're a geek, you've watched it. And the mixtape was important for each and every, those 3 movies. There was like a new mixtape that Star-Lord was listening to from his mom.
What he has on his hip is called a Walkman.
Yep, that's it. That's the mixtape.
Cassette tape.
So my basement treasure, and is, one thing that another aspect of the internet that has been fantastic is the ability for content creators, like pre-internet, if you had an idea for animation, for telling your story, you didn't have a lot of outlets. You could create something and send your tape into a TV station, hope they put it up, studio, hope they buy into it, but chances were not great. And then YouTube came along, and suddenly their crazy idea, you could put it out there. So for my basement treasure, it's salad fingers. I don't know if you're familiar with salad fingers, but we can put a link in the show notes or on the website. So this is 2004, and it's just bananas. It's this guy, a weird looking guy with weird looking fingers, and he likes spoons. And he just touches the spoons, and he's looking for the spoons. And it's bananas, crazy, absurd, makes no sense. But yeah, I thought I got a kick out of it. And there's a lot of content out there like that. Like, I think it was a little bit later, but Charlie the Unicorn. Look this stuff up. There's some really good, crazy, weird content out there. And of course, you're welcome to post some more stuff and comments. What's your weird unearthed YouTube treasure? There's so much content. We're in a content rich environment, and YouTube just, was able, and the internet in general was able to democratize and provide a voice for people that they could not have had otherwise, and in content that may not exist and that we couldn't be enjoying without the internet, without things like YouTube.
All right.
So
I'm going to throw this up as a screen share. There's salad fingers.
Yes.
This guy was I forgot all about him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's creepy, it's weird, but that's the kind of stuff I like. So,
well, it's awesome.
But the real point is that the internet is empowering, and I think that was your point with the court, is that, with Geek Court, is your position is that it's empowering. And I think, even though things are good, things are evil, it's just a tool. But, like we've said in each episode so far, power comes with great responsibility. You have a lot of power here because of the internet. And so there's a lot of good stuff out there, like Salad Fingers and Charlie the Unicorn. All right, so there's a lot of good, absurd stuff that would never exist if we didn't have the internet.
Oh, agreed. I like that. Those are great. And I agree. Obviously, look at us even now in 2025. Content creation at the tips of our fingers. A couple of the videos I've put out were AI generated, and we'll talk a little bit more about AI. But yeah, there's so many easy ways to do it. Just be responsible. Have fun with it. All right. I think we dropped into this geek evolution.
From floppy disks to streaming clicks, it's Geek Evolution.
We talked a little bit about gaming, and I think it's probably, I might hit this from two different levels. So one of the things about the internet for gaming is, you could get games instantly. I remember having to go to Staples or Circuit City, or Kmart, because before Walmart was around, we'd have to go to a store, hope they still had a copy of the floppies and the discs in the store, and that was how we got our games, right? Steam wasn't a thing. Nintendo wasn't a thing. I mean, it was, but not in the way it is today. You had to go buy a game. If you couldn't get a copy, you were screwed. No matter how good the console you had in your house was, there was a time when you needed a copy of it. So I love that the internet...
And I have to admit that even when we didn't need to do that anymore, I was still getting the copy, I didn't trust Steam. I didn't like, and then I came to realize, oh my God, Steam's the way to go, because I don't have to keep that DVD copy. It doesn't make sense for me to keep the DVD copy, because when I switch out computers and I just sign in again to Steam or anywhere, I got access to my entire content library.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point, because we didn't have the ability. If you lost the discs and you changed computers,
Right.
you were done. There was no way
Right.
to move software from computer to computer. So yeah, the idea that we could just get a game, like I could just download. I mean, let's not even get into the phones yet, but I can download software and play it. I can share it with you. We play another game, an old board game turned digital, Talisman.
Yeah.
Simple, easy. Jeff says, "Hey, there's a digital version." We just downloaded it. We started playing. Great game if you've never played it, by the way. It's a very
So
cool.
talk about evolution.
Yeah,
Talisman is a good topic for this, because
perfect.
when Talisman first came out, and I think it was late 80s, but maybe it was in the 90s. But what I do remember is it was a board game that had a single board, and we all played it and loved it. And then they would come out with these expansions.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was no Amazon, there was no online store for us to order things, I still remember in the middle of a blizzard, driving as fast as possible in your car, Steve, to get the latest edition from the closest hobby store, which we lived in Maine. We had to go to Massachusetts.
It was in
to get.
downtown Boston, right near South Station, right near the theater
Called
district.
like, keep a copy for us. We're on the way.
It closed at 6. We left Wells, Maine at 4:30, and it should have been an hour and 45-minute drive. So there should have been no way for us to get there. And we did call, and my kids are going to watch this at some point, and I'll have to admit it, but we got there 20 minutes before they closed, to the point where I remember going, we walked in the store, we were looking around, and then I asked, "Hey, where's this?" And they go, "Wait, are you those guys?" We're like, "Yeah." They go, "You can't hear from Maine already?" Because we were so intense.
Yes.
100%. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I forgot that
To
right.
today, where now, instead of having, so the inconvenience of having to drive like Mach 10 to get that copy when you wanted it, and to drive so far away and that expense, to today, where we're just getting the latest expansion online, and it's not taking up all this space, and we don't all have to get together, but that we can have friends playing from Idaho to Maine to New Hampshire to wherever, playing the game all together. It's fantastic.
Jeff, I don't even notice until after I log in again. I think Steam just downloads everything for me as it pops up. That's how awesome it is. I don't even have to look. And we talked about this. The other thing about having information, everything right at your fingertips. We were talking before we started. We've talked about Jeff was our dungeon master. I guess still is. We just haven't played in a bit. We used to have the longest game stoppages ever, because one of us or another would come up with this crazy rule, and it would take Jeff, because Jeff's very fastidious. He was not going to let things happen that weren't part of the rule set. And so it would take time, and not in a bad way. You were absolutely justified, because we tried to pull some shit, and you were like, "Nope, you can't do that. It's like this." But it would take 20 minutes, because you'd have to go to the DM's guide. You'd have to look it up.
Yes.
And now, instant, we play online with Zoom. We got to talk about some of that at some point in time. There's some very cool platforms we don't use, but you could just go, "Hey, look, I'm going to Google search, a little wiki search."
Yeah,
Nope, done.
that's true.
32 seconds.
Yep.
Kids don't know how good you've got it.
So here's my rant for you. Especially talking about internet and downloadable stuff, right? Jeff mentioned it before. You guys don't know what pain is until you're halfway through a download. of anything, a comic book cover, a new RPG module that you're downloading over the modem with the one phone line in your house, and somebody picks up that phone to make a call, A, you hear your mom scream, "What is that sound?" And B, you lose everything because it didn't complete the download. That's when you can pick up your phone and download everything in the world. You guys don't know how good you have it. So it's I'd say cut the shit. If you wait more than 2 seconds for a song to start on Spotify, freaking relax, okay?
Yes, I know. They just don't understand when you first, booted up your computer, you could go make a sandwich. It was finally it was finally on, and then you went on Netscape and you got on, and then you looked up, maybe a racy photo. You wanted to look at something. Well, you could then go back. You could then go back and watch Seinfeld. And then after 30 minutes, come back and maybe that image downloaded, and then you could see it. Did we do that? Yes. We waited like an hour for our computer to boot up and to look at that one racy photo.
And by racy, it was like a bikini photo. It wasn't even
no one was using the internet for pornography.
It was 2020, it's 2025. You say racy, people think straight up porn. We're talking like, I remember there was one of Farrah Fawcett from Charlie's Angels when we were kids. That was one of the first images I tried to download.
Pure, come on.
Huh?
How dare they think, they naughty minds.
They think we're naughty. But it took forever to download that photo. Forever.
And we waited for it. And that was our uphill.
This might be the geekiest thing we've ever said, by the way.
That was our uphill both ways
in the snow
boomer moment right there.
Yeah, it was. So we're going to drop into a new segment today, I think. A little bit of geek news. I know a lot of people do geek news.
Cutting edge. I like it.
But I want to talk about stuff that's happening because it's something I do every day and deal with. AI. We talked about it a little bit before. It's changing how... I'm going to focus on the geeky side of it. It's changing the geek side of the world, but it's reshaping everything that we do. What do you think? Are we going to be overrun by Terminators any day, or is this just another tool in our tool chest?
It's just another tool. It's progress. When we for our Gen Xers, we watched Terminator. We watched and before that, even though we were too young, but so we watched it in in a rerun. But oh man, Hal, what was the computer?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, like the computer's talking to you, it's thinking. I mean, so AI has been in geekdom sci-fi for a long time. So I mean, we've been waiting for this moment. It's here. We got it, and we just need to be careful with it, just with any tool. So, but I mean, it's gotten us already some seriously great stuff just in this podcast.
Oh yeah,
that song that we have, I love it. It's a banger.
Yeah, our theme song came from an AI site called Refusion. Not an affiliated, not getting sponsored. Go check it out. Maybe could be.
Come on.
I will post the full song. So the clip you guys hear at the beginning and end of the show is just a small portion of the song. It's absolutely hysterical. I love it.
It's only $10,000 to download. We might only get 1 or 2 downloads, but it's going to pay dividends.
He's talking $10,000 in $23.55 money. So about $1.99 today.
Can you set the rating?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll charge anything for it. We'll put it out.
Okay.
We'll see.
Oh, pirate it for now.
Yeah.
Someday.
I mean, if you have to.
Yeah.
We got you. It's all right. Yeah, the song, some of our graphics. I play around a lot. One of the things we're talking about, stuff you can just download. You used to have discs for. I have the entire Adobe Creative Suite that I pay for. That's a software as a service, and I love it because I don't ever have to load a disk or update software. I just click a button and it's there. But between AI and a little bit of Adobe Magic, a lot of our stuff is easy to create.
Yeah, so part of this AI news, we'll post it on the website, give credit to these AI development tools that Steve's using for our podcast, because that, and then eventually they'll pay us.
Yeah, check them out. The Gemini, Google Gemini, the VO creator, will be putting out some content from them. Not from them, but through them. ChatGPT, everybody's using ChatGPT. Refusion, we mentioned. Midjourney AI. These are all great platforms.
I'm using Netscape AI.
Netscape AI. It just, it creates a sound effect that sounds like a dial-up modem.
It's dial-up, yeah. So it's taking a while to get the content, but man, when it comes through, it's kind of...
Yeah. So to be more than just a topic, I get it. I'll post the link, but OpenAI, ChatGPT parent company, is going to be merging with another AI company, and they're talking about it being that next evolutionary step in what AI will be able to do. And if you've been playing with AI at all in the last 12 to 18 months, you know it's already gotten better from when it started. So keep an eye out, keep an open mind, check out the sites we talked about, but AI it's here to stay, people.
Nice. All right.
So this is one of our favorites.
Critical hits.
Or epic fails.
It's critical hits and epic fails.
What do you got? You want to go hits first?
Sure, yeah. So the critical hit I want to share, which you talked about earlier, Heroes of Might and Magic 3.
Yeah.
So I have to admit, I love 4, 5, 6, 7. I love all the Heroes of Might and Magic 1 and 2. I love them all. 3 is enduring. And so that's why I want to say that it's a critical hit, because thousands of people are still playing a game that came out in 1999. I don't know how many games can say that. Maybe chess.
26 years ago?
Yeah. So I almost was going to use it for a basement treasure, but I think it definitely comes under critical hit. So I admit I use Steam. So I have the Heroes 3 HD Steam edition. If you look this up on the interwebs, they're going to tell you don't do that, because that one's locked down. It is in HD, so it looks nice. But apparently, and I don't know the name of the other platform, you can buy this on a different platform. And apparently there are modders out there creating new content for this game from 1999. If you get it on Steam, you can't use any of that new content. I have the Steam version. I'm not interested in all the new latest content. I just like the classic.
You got a purity
Heroes
thing
3 in
going on.
HD.
You're a purist on it.
Yeah, purist. It's also convenience and laziness.
I was giving you the lift. Take the lift.
But even the Steam version, which is more locked down and kind of frozen in time, it has, I think, 2,000 people at any minute, any given day as playing it. That's really amazing for a game 26 years old. So that's my critical hit. What about you?
I mean, I don't think I have a hit. I was thinking of this like a geek court, so I went on the other side of it and jumped right into fails. Okay. I did, and I don't know why, because I do love the internet. I mean, I think it's not a thing, but a moment, and I think it was that moment when it was in college. I talked about the IRC room. So to me, if I'm talking critical hit, it's that moment when I realized, and this is going to sound cheesy, but how big of a world, how small it became, how easy it was to connect with people in other places. I'm a very outgoing, very social person, and the idea that I can socialize with somebody. I was in Virginia. I went to Radford University, and I was talking to people in New York who I didn't know. You know what I mean? And the idea that I could just go in there at the same time every night and chat with the same people, that's a critical hit. That's when I think I understood what the internet was capable of, at least a little bit. I didn't know, of course. I'm not, I'm no prognosticator here, but that's when I started to go, oh, wow, holy crap, this is pretty cool. My fail was going to just be jumping on the don't be a bully bandwagon a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
it's the worst part that, I mean, I don't think we're not starting any new fires here. People are already on this train. So just don't be a dick, right? Go online, have fun. If it's your friend, everybody gives their friend, torture your friends a little bit because it shows them how much you love them, but don't be a dick to other people for no reason. There's enough of that in the world anyway these days. So, find a way to use your time and enjoy it, but don't, to me, that's the biggest fail of the internet is it's allowed people to just be assholes with no consequence.
Right. And so related for me for epic fails is review bombing. So that's when a movie hasn't even come out and it's already got 1-0 reviews and a bunch of people ripping it. You haven't seen it yet. I know there must be something in there that triggered you. That, and a recent example is Superman, because he's pro-immigrant. He came from another planet.
I just watched some stuff about that today.
Of course he's pro-immigrant. Unlike some people who shut the door behind them. So like geeks, we need to be pro all of this and support other geeks.
Yes.
That's what we need to do. We're in the space, this golden age of geekdom, because of geeks that have come before us that have made this possible. They created the internet. They created great TV shows. They created great content. They created great games. They created all this stuff. And now we need to reap the awards. And so Superman, if he was anti-immigrant, would have been the person closing the door. Oh, sure, I got here as an immigrant, and I got asylum, and I got to grow up in an all-American family and learn to be a great person because of that experience. But the next guy that needs that, screw him. No.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So
but those other people
it's
from
fine
other planets.
if you go and you watch a movie and then you put a review, and if you didn't like it, okay, that's on you. And I do ask, let's not try to be destructive for the point of destruction. But this is specifically about the review bombing. So I didn't even watch it, and then you're posting negative reviews and opinions out there trying to destroy something before it's even come out. Doesn't make sense to me. Please, epic fail. No review bombing, something you didn't see.
Yeah, craziness. All right, well, that brings us up.
Sorry, I ranted too.
That's okay. Listen, some of this shit's gonna blend. And that's okay. We have our structure, but we will twist it up if we need to. It does wrap us up for the night. We do have one last final segment, and that's Ask an OG.
Hey, you got geeky questions? Well, we got ancient answers. It's time to Ask an OG.
And it doesn't have to be just about today's episode, be about any of the episodes. But if you want to talk about the internet, there's actually another great podcast related to this question for me. If you've ever listened to it, it's called WikiHole. And Darcy Carden, I think is her name. She hosts the show, and they go on a Wikipedia rabbit hole. And have you ever just been on the whole concept of her show is you get on the internet and you go, oh, well, I wonder about this. And you look up one thing, and then it leads you to click on something else. And before you know it, you start looking up Talisman online, and you end up in a chat room about why Superman is, too woke. Like you just rabbit through. So my question is, what was your first rabbit hole?
Yeah, I like that one. Nice. Yeah, I'd like to hear your answers. Post them on in our comments, put them on our site. And yeah, thanks for bringing us along on this surf through the World Wide Web and how it's evolved and made us geeks enter a golden age.
All right. So check us out, originalgeek.com. Sorry, originalgeekpodcast.com. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram. We're Original Geek Podcast on every social media. Follow us, subscribe, like, watch the videos. Anything you can do, a simple 30 seconds, 50 seconds hanging out with us online helps boost our numbers, helps get us out to more people. I want to keep doing this and make sure we talk to as many of you as we can, just hanging out. And again, if you have questions, let us know. But yeah, check us out, stevescarfo.com if you want to come see me do something live. Jeff, you don't.
Nothing. I got nothing.
Just come. We're going to post Jeff's home address on the website, so just go by and say hi. We're not going to do that. Look at some of you guys were like, that's crazy. No, we're not.
Yeah. Dox me, Steve. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good night. And we'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah. Take care, geeks.